Angus MacDonald, to be followed by Anne McTaggart.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I certainly welcome the opportunity to contribute to this debate, and not least the opportunity to congratulate the petitioner, Peter Cherby, on being bold enough to bring this petition to the Petitions Committee. There aren't many who are willing to take on the might of the judiciary. As we've heard, the petition calls for all members of Scotland's judiciary to be subject to a full and publicly available register of interests, and the proposal envisages the creation of a single, independently regulated, publicly available source containing current information on judges' backgrounds, their financial interests, details of recusals, etc., and any other information which is routinely lodged in registers of interest across all walks of public life in the UK and further afield. Now, given that we as elected members and legislators are expected and obliged to declare our interests, I personally do not see why members of Scotland's judiciary should be treated any differently. During our deliberations, the committee learned of, as we've heard, a similar proposal in New Zealand, as the convener has mentioned. A member's bill sponsored by Green MP Dr Kennedy Graham was proceeding through the parliamentary process as we were deliberating this petition. However, I believe, as has already been mentioned, the bill was subsequently withdrawn following agreement with members of the House of Representatives and the New Zealand Government. Now, Dr Graham has explained to our Petitions Committee that the motivation for the bill was to seek to ensure that judges are assisted through institutional means rather than relying purely on personal direction and judgment in determining whether they should handle a case or not. The intention of the bill was to protect them from accusations or insinuations that their judgment was poor. In addition, it was planned that the bill would promote confidence in the judiciary, especially if it shows that the judicial system, particularly in Scotland, is above reproach. Now, any member of the public watching this debate this afternoon would be entitled to ask, now, what on earth is wrong with that? And as I've already mentioned, I'm inclined to agree with them. However, it's fair to say that it would seem the judiciary are not exactly keen on the idea of such a register. And at this point, Presiding Officer, can I join with other members of the committee to put on record my disappointment, as the committee did as a whole, at the lack of engagement between the full Petitions Committee and the Lord President Lord Gill. In the spirit of openness and transparency which we so rightly hold with high regard in this place, it was clearly a snub to the committee when Lord Gill refused to appear in public in front of it. So if it is to be resisted by the judiciary, it must be borne in mind that nothing undermines public confidence in a nation's institutions and procedures more than a suspicion that a public servant may have suffered a conflict of interest arising from, for example, a financial engagement in a particular dealing in which one was professionally involved. Now, I am clearly not suggesting that anything untoward is going on anywhere, but surely to ensure no such suggestions can ever be laid in the future, then I feel we must look at having a system which gives the general public peace of mind. Clearly and thankfully, accusations of bias are rare. However, situations of perceived bias are not unknown. However, I have to stress in response to Jackson Carlow's comments, it's not a matter of not having confidence in the judiciary, it's a matter of making sure everything is above board. And I also note the Minister's comments that she believes current safeguards are sufficient, and her observation that there were no amendments on Tuesday. However, as it is a decision for Lord Gill, it shouldn't require an amendment to the bill. If we, as elected members, have to register and declare our interests, then I see no reason why members of Scotland's judiciary should not be subjected to a full and publicly available register of judicial interests. So, in closing, Presiding Officer, I once again congratulate Peter Cherby on bringing this situation to the attention of the Parliament, and I hope the Scottish Government and the Lord President will reconsider taking the suggestions of the petitioner on board, which I believe would help to allay concerns of the wider public in Scotland. Thank you.
Thank you.